Belacon 4, baby!
Woohoo! Mine's in the Gutter Comics. Look at that shirt right there. All right, woohoo! Belacon 4. Alright guys, we're back at Belacon and Hans has already picked a lot of good books up there. Silver Age, Bronze Age, we just don't know what we're going to get. But the room is starting to fill up right here and let's have at it. It's Belacon 4! This is it! Oh man, this is exciting. Glad you're doing this again.
Absolutely.
Alright.
Keep doing it.
Thank you, Bela.
Alright, cheers.
We have Evil Pete here. Awesome stuff. Always has the good. How have you been, Pete?
Great. How have you been?
You've been good. I'm great because I'm at Belacon doing literally rock and roll outside of work as a barber, comics. You do it all, my friend. You do it all.
I'm a man of many trades and a master of none.
Well, hey, I think you're a pretty good master. You got Mr. East Comics, all the good stuff, and toys. That's awesome.
Belacon 4.
All right.
Great stuff here today. Beautiful day in Chicagoland. Come on down to Mayfair.
I'm with Steven and he just hooked me up with these great books right here. Always been a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers. So thank you, Steve. You have a lot of great books and enjoy Belacon. And Julio did it again. He created this flyer right there. Amazing artwork, as you can see here. This is all his great work. Definitely check out the link right here to see more of Julio's amazing artwork. All right, Belacon scouting out the good talent. Here we are with Maria, an expert in cosplay. Be sure to check her Instagram. I'm going to put it right there. Maria Thorne Cosplay and awesome content. So glad you're here at Belacon. You're like a celebrity. This is great.
Stop it. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
We'll try to make her
And your
vlog.
page is timeless.
Yeah, it's Time Travel Comics.
Time Travel Comics. Check out Time Travel.
The old school comics. All
Good
right.
stuff.
All right, we got All Yeah Comics. All right. Always great. Joe's got the good stuff. Check it out. Look at this. A wonderful store with great comics in Skokie, Illinois. Joey from Slabulous Comics, and this is his cup of tea right here. Look at these books. That's amazing. Oh, look at that foil cover.
The corpse's #1. Jamie Foil.
And only Joey could truly hook you up with those. That's amazing. Amazing. All right, continuing on. Oh, hey, you're always cool. You don't even need sunglasses because you're always cool and ahead of the game. And even has this Michael Jordan book, only one of 50, so matter of time. But we love Michael Jordan in Chicago, and to see this is a wow. So great you have this, Joey. Belacon 4 Zombie Unicorn Comics. We have a lot of great comic stores, but Zombie Unicorn right by my house. Always the good stuff. Look at
Peterson
this.
and Kimball, guys. Peterson and Kimball, Zombie Unicorn Comedy. Come check us out.
And check out their new comic releases on Saturdays, so you know what you're going to get Wednesday. Online, they're great online. They ship them anywhere. That was Belacon number 4, taking place in Chicago, Illinois, June 7th, 2025. And it was at the Mayfair Presbyterian Church. A basement full of friends and comics and truly great collectors alike were walking and representing, and seeing Bela and his comic collection, Cheese and Keys, Help Me Find My Keys, Night Comics, Kingpin Comics, Mind in the Gutter Comics, and even newcomers like Evil Nerd Pete and also other new vendors like Steve, who's brought his collection. It's a joy just seeing what people have and adding and filling in the gaps of what's needed. Also among the crowd was Maria Thorne of Maria Thorne Cosplay on Instagram, just great running into her, and other friends and artists, and even new artists being presented at the con. And this is the postcard, and they included Josh Blaylock, who was there before with his comic series. Julio Guerra, always a great person to run into, and even signed the poster of Belacon right there. So I thank Julio for that. As well as Ben Miller, Derek Masson, who did some great Godzilla artwork, and recently the Chicago hot dog artwork at the Seven Corner Gallery. Also Kevin West, Elijah Ben, Lisa Jones, her artwork was stunning, some horror, some painted artwork that one could look at, Kyle Fernick, and a lot more. So including Zombie Unicorn comic owner Ron, his daughter, was also among the artists drawing away, and her name is Charlie, and she's going to be an up-and-coming star. So a lot of fun seeing comics and artists under one roof. All right, let's get into it. I was able to pick up a decent stack of comics in the short amount of time that I was there, and I started off with Ben and Cheese and Keys. Always has great books to pick up, including this Bronze Age horror book from 1974, and that's Weird Mystery Tales with a Louis Dominguez cover. He never failed to disappoint. You can see the bat and the spanning wings and the perspective, and the black and dark inks really make for the mood and set the tone for Weird Mystery Tales. And Louis Dominguez did it best. He even did some UFO titles for Bell and Gold Key, and always happy to run into some of his Bronze Age horror books. Another book I found was Star Trek #6, the original series right here from Gold Key, featuring Will Shatner's, Leonard Nimoy's characters in the first Paramount picture run. And this actually has a movie photo still, but the artwork inside is great. Look at the boulders crashing through the deck, the Starfleet scrambling against the Vulcans, and another tale here. And just great pictures of the USS Enterprise can be found in this particular book. Even the centerfold has some great action scenes of the galaxy and the starship whizzing away over the planet. So I'm happy to add this to the collection because it really brings me back to watching Star Wars and Star Trek and all those sci-fi adventures. And just take a look at this. Even a cross-section of the USS Enterprise right in there. So the comic artist did not disappoint, taking creative license even to draw through the ship and give the comic reader an idea of what was going on. So Star Trek, live long and prosper. So I was happy to pick this up for $7. It was a deal. Also moving along, Steve Ditko cover. This is an unusual one by Charlton Comics. Charlton was in Derby, Connecticut. They published, they drew, they distributed everything under one roof. And this happens to be a continuation of the Unusual Tales series. And that eventually numbered to number 50. And this is a new title altogether, Shadows from Beyond. And this happens to be from October of 1966, and a Steve Ditko. And just a great kind of psychological logic type cover, chaos, suspense, mystery, and thrills in a very surreal presentation. Getting into Go-Go Checks, that was in the 60s. This is also in the 60s with a striped cover right there. And Superman and Batman versus Robot. There are a lot of collectors out there collecting specifically robot covers, among other themes, and this is a popular one and a must-have, and one that I picked up because I just love the composition. Mike Sikowski artwork, Joe Bela inking, from March of 1967. So Cheese and Keys brought the good stuff, and this is another book. Fast forwarding into the future to 1993, the age of overdrawn, muscle-bound heroes, Rob Liefeld, Mark Silvestri, and all those artists coming in. We have this one here by Image Comics, an early Image comic, Pit Number 1, in the first Ripon issue here, Ripon issue number 1. So one that I've seen, one that I haven't read. On eBay, the first issue goes for a variety of prices, from $10 to $200, but nonetheless, in 1993, a lot of overproduced comic books, high-level print run. So I'm sure I'll run into these in the future, but this is kind of a newer title to me, so I'm happy to read that. Also, Catwoman, number 1 issue. This happens also to be from 1993. Nice cover there, good action going on, a lot of fun. I always like to see these number 1 issues and a dedicated comic book to a character like this. Also, Cheese and Keys had some weird wonder tales, some Bronze Age suspense and occult type book, and this happens to be one of them. I got this one a little too late. My friend Hans at Captain Strangelove snagged about 5 of them. I know you did, Hans, so I'm going to have to come over to your house to read them or look at them. But anywho, he spared me one. Thanks loads. But I'm happy to read it. That's The Thrill of the Hunt. So I ran into Steve. Steve is a comic collector. He also had a new box of comics that he picked up from a relative, and he hooked me up with 3 good books. And I'm always a fan of the Ninja Turtles, and this happened to be a retail incentive cover. Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird always at the helm here, and I believe this was Kevin Eastman by some of the drawing there. Could be wrong, could be Peter Laird. But this is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe, a different series. Right now, there's a Saturday morning Ninja Turtle series going on, and also a reboot of the other Ninja Turtle series, as the Ronin series has moved on to a different title. So happy to have this one. Also Transformers, 1980s property. Always loved GoBots and eventually the Transformers. And this happens to be the 25th anniversary issue. So with X-Men, Spider-Man, they'll have this border cover right here. So all the titles eventually had a comic that had this border, and this happened to be the Transformers version of it, and one that I did not have. Also, Monsters on the Prowl, a nice clean copy here. For a white cover, it really presents well. There's no dings or scratches, so pretty good high grade, mid to high grade one. And usually Gil Kane artwork is on there, or some reprint, but this is by popular demand King Cole returns. So we'll be reading that and adding it to my Monsters on the Prowl collection. Thank you, Steve, for having these, and it was always fun chatting with you. He also has an Instagram page that he said he's working on and developing, so we'll stay tuned to that. So Evil Pete Nerd, my buddy Pete, we recently had the barbershop comic swap just about a month ago, and I presented that video, and you can see it in my playlist, the comic swap. He was there for the first time representing, and a big Doctor Doom fan, and so much so that he even has memorabilia, collectibles related to Doctor Doom, as well as a plethora of comic book and specific key issues. And this one I missed at the end of last year, but he had a copy, and this is the Doom one-shot, and it features Iron Man as Doctor Doom, so kind of consistent with the potential storyline of the new Avengers movies that'll be coming out next year. So Robert Downey Jr. is in the works on that, and it might have been rumored he was holding a copy of this particular comic. So it's going on the up and up. So I said, you know what, there's an opportunity, and Pete had it, and I had to get it from Pete. If anybody to get a Doctor Doom book from, it's going to be Pete. As well as a couple key issues of Spider-Man. This is the annual book right here, Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 16 from 1982. How about that? That's my birth year, 82, so maybe it's in May. But I've seen this time and again, never had it in the collection, so happy to have that. It's a nice, thicker book to read, as well as number 1, Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man. Kind of another series of Spider-Man after the Amazing Spider-Man, and features the tarantula. Not his first appearance though, but right here. And these books are really packed nicely in high-grade Mylar and double cardstock. So we joke around with Pete for having the most meticulous and well-curated collection with great comic book supplies. I mean, look at this. This will last another 100 years without having to rebag and board these. So Pete, that's pretty cool. And thank you for these great books. Next year, as I have more time, I'll be sure to look through all of the boxes and take my time, but I was there just for a brief moment, but I'm glad that I was able to pick up what I did. About a week before, there was a rummage sale in Skokie, Illinois, and also a book sale at Aw Yeah Comics in Skokie with Joe at the helm, and he's always great and knows his inventory. And it was a sidewalk sale, and I was able to pick up some 50-cent books, including one from Bad Idea Comics. This was about during the pandemic 5 years ago, a series of Bad Idea titles, and this one happens to be The Lot, and a short run. This is issue number 4, featuring horror there. And this is actually a little glossy and matted. It's just a cardstock cover, so I saw that in the pile. Black and white, kind of horror, kind of occult art in there. So Friday the 13th is coming up. You can read these great books. They might come to life with a rumble jumble. So able to pick up a reprint of the first Spider-Boy appearance here in the Spider-Man series, Spider-Boy and the Spider-Boy-verse. So 3rd printing, so I'm going to read that. And it's a kind of a loose copy here. And of course I can't turn down anything Archie. And because it's summertime, there's some nice swimsuit covers, and of course Archie and the gang drooling and following in hot pursuit. So picked up some of these series here of Cheryl Blossom. And also another one here with her admirers and suitors. And I always like these. Have a little bit of a water damage because that's why they're 50 cents each. But nonetheless, they represent Archie, and they're from the year 2000. And also a milkshake cover. I do have videos in my playlist, including some shorts featuring milkshake, and it's really a part of American culture, and Archie Comics always did it best with these great milkshake covers, so I couldn't pass that up, and it's a part of nostalgia and Americana. So happy to get some of these Cheryl Blossom books and stop at the sidewalk sale, and even found a Doctor Doom number 1 for cover price, and this happens to be from a couple years ago. It has a little blemish right there, so that's probably the reason why it was discounted, but it was at Aw Yeah Comics. Always has great current books on Wednesday releases, as well as some back issues and sales. So great comic book community of local comic book stores from Zombie Unicorn Comics and Aw Yeah Comics, which are great to visit. So that was Belacon, and a truly great one. And I think the organization, Bela, Ben, Brent from Lost My Keys, to Pete from Evil Pete Nerd, Ben from Cheese and Keys, just having great books, and just bringing the community together to talk and do everything comic. So until next time, I shall meet you in the past with more books to look at and some covers to sling as well. And also more content about artists and covers to come. So stay tuned.